heart of South Philly. Let's go see what the people have got to say.
I'm ready to roll, baby.
Now listen here, Dutch. Mets and the Cowboys, they suck.
1, 2, 3, go Birds! Go Birds!
What we got? 302BIRDS, Gino Stinks. Go Birds!
Oh my gosh, Chad.
Your favorite Chicagoan. Go Phils.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302BIRDS podcast experience. Proudly presented by TickPick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.
Oh my goodness. I'm being as positive as I can after an L like that to the Atlanta Falcons. An absolute heartbreaker on Monday night. If you want to talk about a way to take your soul, take your heart out of your body, ballpark Tommy, smash it on the ground and step on it repeatedly and do other unspoken acts to it. No, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, though, God, that one hurt. I mean, 22-21, primetime Kirk looking like fucking Super Bowl Kirk or somebody. He usually shits the bed, came out with a game-winning drive. And what killed us? The run game. The run game. The Eagles are still, this week, the worst team in the league in yards per carry. We'll get to that. We'll get to this loss. We'll get to Nick Sirianni acting like a child, the Phillies, a call-in, and a bunch more. But I'm going to kick it to Ashley. What were you going to say there?
No, actually, so fun fact. The Chicago Bears they have averaged in 2 games 2.9 yards per offensive play, which is the worst of any NFL team in over 60 years.
So maybe we need to play them, and they need to go up against us, and it will be like the better of two evils, and we'll see who comes out of it. Ballpark, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. The Phillies get clinched tonight, so that's a positive.
That is a positive.
That's why you're in such a good mood tonight. I was wondering why you seem so upbeat.
But the Birds still suck. I'm sorry.
Ah, there it is. There's the kicker. There's the zinger. What's up, Connor? Good to see you, man. Our favorite Chicago fan. Because I guess Ashley's not a Chicago fan. She's a Philly Chicago fan. But good to see you, Connor. Thanks for joining the stream tonight. We appreciate you. But Jack's not here tonight, unfortunately. So I'm going to kick it to his call-ins, and I will host it. But as always, we want to thank El Diablo for sponsoring this segment. If you guys haven't been there yet in Delaware, what are you doing? It's the best Mexican food around.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless. Go Birds.
Tell them 302BIRDS sent you. Amir, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. What about y'all?
We're good. I mean, what did you bring for us in your Eagles fit? I love it. You're bringing the heat.
Okay. So I have like the light and all the darkness after this Eagles loss. I found the good with the loss. Okay. It might sound crazy to say, but I have a hot take that maybe we benefited from it. Okay.
How so?
So there was one Eagles team that started out 1-1 and went to win the Super Bowl. That is none other than the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. I'm saying it's an underdog story. It's a Philly story. It's going to be another Super Bowl for Philly. That's my hot take. we might have benefited from this.
Ballpark?
First off, I want us to pray for Jack tonight as he works from
He had to say something.
as he works off and recovers from hat floating-itis. Dude needs to learn how to put a hat on his head properly in these trying of times. That being said, and when the Eagles went 1-1 that year, they lost to a Chiefs team who was on the rise, looking like everyone knew they were going to at least make the playoffs, possibly a contender for AFC champion against the then Tom Brady's with an insane Patriots defense, and as the other main contender in that AFC. You lost to the Falcons, who might be in the little sisters of the poor division, were last year, and get to play the Carolina Panthers twice this year. There is no bright side. The Cowboys lost, the San Francisco 49ers lost, two teams who you could have had a one-game lead, who we saw last year. One game can make all the difference, especially if you go on a skid. So, and they go down to New Orleans, who has put up the fourth most points to start a 2-game span of a season. They go to Tampa, who's been on absolute tear, and Baker Mayfield has been embracing the chaos. Seems like a recipe for disaster for me to go 1-3 to start the season.
I remember on Sunday when we were watching the Cowboys get absolutely killed. As much as I was enjoying that moment as an Eagles fan, my next thought is, oh, shoot. Sunday, 1 p.m. We have to go to New Orleans.
And we can't stop the run.
We can't stop the run. We can't.
Alvin Kamara is going to do to us what he did to the Cowboys.
I did hear a lot of people say, shout out to Benny as well. I think he said it. He said Alvin Kamara would be a great start this week because the Eagles defense, like I said in the beginning of the show as well, I've been keeping an eye on that yards per carry. And that's been one stat that I've really been focused on just for running backs, because yards per carry is like, what are you doing each play? What's up, Ryan? Good to see you, man. Hope to see you here later. Get ready for that, guys. If you guys don't, go subscribe to Broad Street Sports. He's a great, awesome young man who's going to be coming back on the show later. But back to the point. I mean, Super Bowl, I do like what Amir's saying. Sometimes you do need to get knocked in the mouth to see how it feels, and it's earlier than last year. So maybe it's almost like a wake-up call. You know what I mean? Like earlier. We'll see. But the Falcons were not a loss that was accounted for, I'll say, when we were going into this year. Like when I had that 14-3 record prediction or that 15-2, the Atlanta Falcons wasn't one of them. It was more like Baltimore Ravens, you know what I mean? Or some of the better teams that we played. Even the Green Bay Packers were up there. But I think it's just a bad football game. There's going to be a couple bad football games this year. Josh Huff, or not, why do I keep saying that? Bryce Huff. Unfortunately, Bryce Huff was non-existent. Like Josh Huff, I guess, in a way. But back to the point, Bryce Huff has not shown up at all. I think the dude hasn't had a tackle or done anything. And it's like, he's a top 20, top 30 guy, and what he's getting paid. He's a great player, and he's just not really playing up to par. I don't know if that's because he's in a new system. I don't know if it's because, you know, he's not playing well. I don't know if it's two different new fields and he'll get used to it. I have no clue. But regardless, it's not what we paid for. I mean, Amir, what about your thoughts? How do you feel about all of it?
I thought he got some tackles in the Packers game, didn't he?
Well, yeah, that Huff number one, but overall outlook, like your question was this year, like, do you think that the Eagles needed to get punched in the mouth for Super Bowl, or like last year, did you think the winning streak was good?
Going back to my underdog story. See, you need to get knocked down to get back up and get to the higher levels. So I think that getting embarrassed by Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, and keep in mind, Kirk Cousins, I guess he's now Clutch Kirk. He's been for a minute. You need to get decimated by a team. Well, not really decimated, but embarrassed by a team that's not that good, like the Falcons, to be able to, like, really just soak in that you lost to the Falcons or any team that's not that good to be able to win against teams like late in the season when we face the Ravens. But the Ravens aren't really doing that good this year. They're
The
0-2.
Ravens, I'm going to go back to this comment here. There's a lot of teams that my confidence pick pool has suffered. Tom is killing me right now. And it's not, he's just picked more under. I don't know if he's picked more upsets. I don't know what the heck is going on. But fantasy wise, I'm doing well. Confidence pick pool, not doing well. I definitely did not have the Ravens. I don't know. I think I had the Steelers 1-1, and then I had the Rams 2-0 at this point. So the first couple of weeks, this is also true. Connor is like half of everybody else's scores. He has not been doing well. But
I'm 0-2 as well, man. So and I'm not. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about that. You know what? I'm not even going to say what I just said.
I don't think we can talk about your fantasy.
And it's a word that ends with a T. And it was something that I was supposed to take a bear on a date to Olive Garden. But
yes, true fact.
Yeah, you're still. Yeah, when is that fantasy?
All right, guys, that was enough from Ballpark Tommy tonight. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, cheese and crackers. Oh, yeah. So I don't like being 1-1 against this team. If we're gonna get punched in the face, I'd rather it be like week 6, week 7, when we have a buffer.
True. Yeah, we got to do maybe a like fantasy round table. Maybe ChatGPT could help us. And I'll tell Alyssa thank you. I mean, and Ashley repaid the favor to me as well. So, I mean, both of our girlfriends respectively kicked the other one's ass. Well, your fiance, but my girlfriend, but both of our girls, you get the point.
Maybe. He's not from the fiance region of France.
All right, with that being said. Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Finger stitch!
And in the absence of Jack, please, to a loving and beautiful cause, please go pick up some Nick's Pizza to cure the Wednesday blues, to get over the hump, as one might say. Hey, to find Jack and to solve his fight against floating-itis.
What even happened?
No. He's just busting Jack's balls for not being here and always wearing his hat high.
Yes, that is the joke. Thank you, Dutch.
All right.
Yeah. Phillies have their series against the Brewers. They won last night 4-1. Bryce continues to finally find his power again, and that he found against the Mets. I was at that beautiful game where he finally hit his first home run in over a month. It was beautiful. Phillies are going to continue their series. It's currently tied 1-1 in game 2 of this series. Our old friend Reese is killing us. He made it 1-1. Phillies win tonight. You know, they clinch a spot in the playoffs and would at least make the magic number go down to 4 to clinch the division. Or they could also clinch tonight if both the Mets and the Braves lose as well, and if the Phillies were to lose. So those are all our scenarios for the magic number to reach 0 tonight and clinch a spot tonight. That being said, I'm sure in the last, I think they have like 11 or 12 games, the Phillies will either win a game or the Mets and Braves will lose a game. I'm not too worried about it.
Braves killed the Reds. Killed the Reds today.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But the Reds can pull it out every now and again. Maybe.
Yeah, I was at the game Monday night in Milwaukee. I was not thrilled with the pitching. The pitching sucked. Like, majorly sucked. To the point where my mom was yelling for them to pull Tyjon Walker, among other pitchers, which I've never heard her do that before.
So that was why all those people were so happy with you guys in the video, because they agreed with you.
Oh yeah, no, we were all on the same page. So obviously this is a series that we really needed to sweep, just to kind of make all of us, feel better. We definitely need to take this game here. I heard the amount of people working at the Brewers Stadium who in the middle of that game were like, we need to sweep or take 2 of 3, and we're on track to do that right now. And I'm like, yeah, because our team did not show up. I will say Alec Boehm was visibly frustrated with pitching, visibly frustrated, and probably and saying some things that he was mad and letting his opinion known. So obviously last night they bounced back, had a great win, and hopefully they can do the same thing tonight. And
make sure you guys tune into our Phillies post-game show after this. They're going to be giving you guys all the coverage. Right now, it's the top of the 6th. We'll be wrapping up right around the end. And maybe if you guys are lucky, Ballpark will go on there. But he's probably got to go to bed. But Ballpark, how many more games? Is tonight the magic number, right? If this is it, we're in, no matter what?
Yeah, they'll be in the playoffs. It's just a matter of seeding then after that if they win tonight.
So how many more games do they need to win to get or lock in the 1 seed?
To lock in the 1 seed, I forget that number. I want to say it's the magic number's like 10 or so, maybe 9 or 8. I forget exactly.
I think it was 9 yesterday, so it should be 8.
Okay, because did the Dodgers lose last night? That's who we need to keep losing, Dutch, for us to get the 1 seed is the Dodgers to keep losing. And then to get home field advantage for the World Series, we need the Yankees to lose.
So Dodgers lost yesterday. They're currently beating the Marlins 8-3 currently. So yeah, I don't know what that means for numbers, but in terms of the Dodgers losing, it's not looking super promising.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We'll just have to do it ourselves, damn it.
Now, how are you two feeling about the boys being back? I mean, Philly's getting a lot of coverage back for players.
Boom's great to have back. R.I.P. to my boy Buddy Kennedy. He did his job while he was up here. I'm not sure if you saw that 1 extra innings game against the Mets that they won, it was the Rays this past week, and everybody's chanting Buddy, 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 Buddy. So it's sad to see him go, but Boom being back this week and Mundo coming back. We've had JT back now for a while. It's good to have them back now to give them a week or 2 before postseason play starts. Get them back in this swing of Major League Baseball before postseason starts.
Yeah, Ash.
I mean, that sums it up pretty darn well. Hopefully we can figure out these pitching issues and with everybody back into, again, kind of this normal rhythm and be able to kind of sail into the beginning of the postseason.
Amir, you got anything to say?
Like, I don't really watch baseball, but
it's all good. Don't worry.
Good.
We're going to get a little bit more into some stuff that I think is in you and my realm. So how about the Sixers, though? Did you have an opinion on that today? Now they announced that there's no more New Jersey, no more Delaware. The Philadelphia 76ers are staying in PA. In Philly, how are you feeling about it?
I don't care if I live in New Jersey. I don't even care if it's like an hour and a half drive from Wells Fargo or wherever they're going to be. I don't know, like center Philly now. It's the Philadelphia 76ers for a reason. 76. America.
I love it. That's a great take.
It wouldn't make sense if they went to New Jersey and were called the New Jersey 76ers. What's the point? So it's a good move, but I just don't think the location of the new stadium is that good of a spot.
Fair point.
Yeah. Tommy, I know you definitely have an opinion. What about them moving to Delco? How would you feel about that?
I still hate it. Stick to Philly. You have a complex in Center City. And I'm so tired. I kept seeing a few people talk about, well, every other city like has it in their downtown / Center City area. Every other team like the Yankees, every other team like the Red Sox, like the Celtics, like who else has in like the Washington Nationals. So all those teams, sure, they have it in their downtown area. And people were complaining that they pay out the ass for parking down in the sports complex in South Philly. Hey, let me put it to you this way. For an Eagles game that's only played 8 times a year, maybe 9 now with the 17-week schedule of home games you get a year down in South Philly, only charge about $50 only. Because then when you go to other cities, think about this, for a baseball game, there's 162 games, Dutch, that they play in baseball. Oh, the Red Sox charge $50 for parking near Fenway. Hey, the Nationals charge you $100. You want to know what other team in this fine country charges you approximately the same of about $25 the Phillies charge down in South Philly? The Baltimore Orioles do, of only about $20 to $25 in their stadium parking lot. I'm not having to go find some third-party parking lot to park in and walk a little bit. No. I'm pulling right up to the stadium for $25. But if I go to Washington Nationals, I'm paying $100, or I have to do what I did. I parked, like many Phillies fans, a half-hour walk away to get to the Nationals stadium after parking. And I wasn't the only one, Dutch. I felt like the whole stadium was walking with me. And I paid $30 still.
I can see you and the pack just walking. Wait, did we win? How was the walk back?
We did win. It was an absolute we absolutely crushed the Nationals.
Oh, hell yeah.
That game that I was at last year.
Just for context.
But parking in these like center city downtown areas is terrible. The traffic's god awful. It disrupts well-established neighborhoods in China. I'm so tired of them saying, "Oh, well, it's the fashion district." Okay, hey, look around. What's around that building? And there's other small local businesses. There's neighborhoods that are already well established there, Dutch. You're disrupting neighborhoods of where people live. Whereas in South Philly, there's people that live in South Philly, but we've made traffic patterns to accommodate for the volume of traffic coming out of the sports complex already, and easy access to 95. Hey, where they want to put this is nowhere near 95. So like you and me who live outside of the city, it's going to be a nightmare.
We get mega fucked. Yeah, I'm never going to a Sixers game again. I've accepted it.
If you live in Northeast Philly, even you're screwed. And they live in the city. People who live in Northeast Philly, people who live in Mayfair are not going to be able to have easy access to the game. People who live in South Philly, it's going to take them. People who live in Manayunk can't get to this game. And they'll get there by the third quarter. If you work a job, you'll never go to a game during the week.
Well, that's what I'm looking around in here, accepting, Tom. I'm saying to myself, all right, do you guys see any Sixers stuff in here? I don't.
No. Because
the Sixers are not a good team at selling themselves.
No.
And similar to the Flyers, because the Flyers used to be, but they're not anymore. But the Sixers are becoming the new Flyers because of Josh Harris, if that's where you were going to go with this.
Yes.
Yep, I got you.
He's a billionaire.
Come on.
He is a leech on society. He is a leech on the city of Philadelphia. He's sucking the taxpayer dry in the city of Philadelphia. I went on the rant when they thought about going to New Jersey. Sucking the taxpayer dry in New Jersey, sucking the taxpayer dry in Philly. We have one of the highest rates of food insecurity in the whole country of the U.S. And all of a sudden we can't find taxpayer dollars to feed our own Philadelphians basic food, Dutch. But we can find hundreds of millions of dollars to put a stadium that we've done an economic study on is going to negatively impact the businesses around the stadium because people won't be able to get there to those small businesses on those game days. So the small businesses are losing out. Josh Harris is getting a free stadium out of the city of Philadelphia. People who were hoping for benefits from the city of Philadelphia, who are hard taxpayers and pay a lot of taxpayer dollars because city of Philadelphia has a pretty high wage tax too, so they all pay their fair share. That's for sure in taxes. Josh Harris doesn't pay shit into those wage taxes because it's all coming off of investments. It's they're not seeing any benefit to help them. But Josh Harris can't play ball with the city of Philadelphia and maybe find another small part of South Philadelphia. There's tons of acreage around there, around the
The
stadium.
Navy Yard.
The Navy Yard.
The Navy Yard would have been
disarray.
sick.
It would have been, and it's right there of 95. Instead of going left, you go right. If you're going on 95 north or down to the stadiums,
It could have been perfect, and
it
I
could have
feel
been.
like, look, I'll say this: I'm happy that they didn't go with Delaware number 1. If I had to pick between Delaware or Jersey, believe it or not, I'd actually pick Jersey, Camden, because Camden's right over the bridge. It's probably your next best option. If you're going to go out of state, it's probably your best option would be New Jersey to be as close as you can be. But then the same thing, like Amir said earlier, I mean, you're going to be nicknamed and forever the New Jersey 76ers. You're no longer going to be known the Philadelphia 76ers, just like we call the Giants the New Jersey Giants. And everybody's saying that. Everybody's talking about that. But the main thing for me is keep the Sixers here. They're such a traditional team, so I'm happy that they did it. I've accepted I'm never going to go to a Sixers game again unless I'm staying in a hotel. I thought about this months ago when they proposed this whole Chinatown thing. I'm shocked it actually got passed. There's only really one way that they can build there, and that's up. And that's just going to still cause no parking garage, no this or that is going to be able to, stop traffic in, Chinatown, Philadelphia. So it's going to be interesting to see it all play out. And I don't know the economic impact that it's going to have. We've heard good, we've heard bad. We'll
really
see later.
Only bad, to be honest.
I know. I don't want to focus on it too much because I also want to get to our next topic. But mainly, the main thing is we'll see how this whole experiment goes. But I'm glad that they finally picked a direction because they got to start building the thing if they want to have it open, I think, by 2031, 2032, which was their goal.
I hope they get booed the shit out of their first game of the season. They deserve to be booed for how much they are screwing over the people of Philadelphia.
All right, so we know evidently, Tom, how you fucking feel on the Sixers. You've told everybody that. How do you feel about Nick Foles retiring?
I love BDN.
Retiring an Eagle.
He would never screw over the taxpayers of Philadelphia. He only brought joy. Here's a man who single-handedly brought a great economic event. He stopped crime for a month. Do you remember the crime statistics, Dutch, that St. Jude's used to pass out to us? Crime around the city of Philadelphia dropped dramatically when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Everybody was elated. This dude, single-handedly, we can say he saved lives just based off of the crime statistics that came up when he won the Super Bowl for us. He willed his way to a Super Bowl for us. He willed his way into saving lives for the city of Philadelphia. That's what this man did. This man's a Philadelphia legend, a Philadelphia hero, I would say, by saving all those lives, Dutch. And it brought great joy to. He did a piece with WIP before the game, and it was beautiful, and I absolutely loved it.
We got our boy coming back on the show this week. I think it's fair to say a legend after his debut last week, but the Italian Stallion. Broad Reports. If you guys haven't, give him a follow at Broad Street Sports. So I muted you because you got this weird background noise. I'll unmute you now, but just mute yourself when you're not talking. You're good, bro. How are you?
I'm good, man. Is everything good now? I have no idea because I just did my live stream a little bit and I didn't have any problems. So is it good now?
It's a lot better now.
It's a lot better.
All right, that's good. That's good. Yeah. But I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good, man. I mean, besides the result, how'd you feel about the whole Nick Foles ceremony? I know that. Did you go to the game? Was it televised? How'd you watch it?
I did not go to the game. I did watch the game from standing up in my living room, screaming at the TV, making reels on Instagram, just screaming. It was not a good night from the start. Just all around the Eagles proved to me everything that I said that they were going to do. They were going to lose, and they did. and in a pathetic and disastrous way. Disastrous. I mean, and then I got to come on and hear that Nick Sirianni didn't speak to the team is just appalling to me. But to go back to Nick Foles' retirement, this guy brought me the first championship to the city of Philly that I actually remember, because when the Phillies won, I was a kid. So like, this is the first one that I actually remember. And he brought tears and happiness, and I was at the parade. I was on Broad Street after we won, whatever. It was great. So, yeah. But so good to see Nick Foles retire as an Eagle. He's a legend. Love the guy. Love him.
Well said, and don't worry, we'll get to the Sirianni drama a little bit later. We got a whole topic on man-child later in the episode.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, don't worry. I know you're ready to rip into him. Amir, how'd you feel about the whole Nick Foles retirement ceremony?
See, I didn't even see his retirement speech before the game. I don't get to see first quarter for Thursday night or Monday night, really, because I'm busy at that time. But look, Nick Foles, he's a legend for the city of Philadelphia. Yeah, there's really not much you can say. He's a legend, got the Eagles their Super Bowl. That's plain and simple. And put it up.
They could have freaking won the game for him, though, right, man?
Yeah, they could have, but what will happen is, I don't know, but we'll see. Eagles.
Overall, just a bad night for the Eagles.
They're gonna
not just the Eagles. It was just a bad night in Philly sports.
Yeah, I guess Ashley was on the other end of that with the Phillies. We were there with the Eagles, and the offense, I mean, just looked off. It didn't look well. Saquon Barkley had that drop. That drop, I'm sure every Philadelphia fan, especially Ryan, like he said, was ready to put his fist through his TV like me. I mean, I was like, Jesus Christ. I got home, so I left a little bit throughout the game because that traffic, that was nuts. That was like one. So I've been to a lot of home games over the past 2 years because I pretty much will go to every tailgate. I'm a tailgate addict. I love my tailgates. And then I'll listen to the game. Usually I'll leave at halftime. Sometimes I'll leave third quarter, 2 minutes. This game we left in the third quarter with 4 minutes left. So still a little bit early, but I was like, all right, let's get home. So I darted home and it was only like a 40-minute drive, which was great. But I remember watching on my TV, and there were two things that stuck with me with this game. Number one, Saquon Barkley's drop. And number two, the way that Nick Sirianni reacted after. When a coach reacts like that, which I said, like, we'll get into this topic in a little bit. But the thing I'll say to preface that is when a coach acts like that, it sets off not just a couple of your fucking players. It sets off your whole fucking team. It just sets off the whole vibe. When you start doing that shit and just yelling at people, they turn off eventually. And there's one thing between lecturing and then there's Nick Sirianni, which is, what the fuck? And he throws, like, you guys saw some of that on TV if you were watching at home. It was aggressive. It just didn't look like something that people would want to be a part of. And I'm a person that looks at body language. 70% of communication is body language. And if you look at A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, the rest of the offense, their facial expressions, the way that they acted, the way that they played, it just looked off to me. So the whole team looked off, and ultimately I was just honestly really disappointed to call myself an Eagles fan. I expect better. I was mortified at the end of that game, having to hear from a lot of Atlanta fans and other opposing fans. And I was more mortified because I had to hear it from Cowboys and fucking Niners fans after posting that meme that both those fuckers lost. And then our own team had to fucking choke by a point. Ugh. How you feeling about Ryan?
I'm lost. I really am. And I wish I had the right words for you because I don't. My roller coaster of emotions really went down the hill at the start of the game. I saw this team when Nick Sirianni, the moron that he is, went for on 4th and 4 when he could have kicked it, and then come to find out that field goal would have won us the game. In hindsight, that field goal would have won us the game. If he would have just not have been stupid and greedy and an idiot, we would have won the game because of a field goal. It was a chip shot. Literally a chip shot for Jake Elliott. So, I mean, so that's my problem. Then you see him running. He ran about 40 yards down the sideline to go dap up C.J. Gardner-Johnson, which I thought was a total clown show. It was like what kind of a serious head coach does that? Like an assistant coach, a guy that's on the side. Yeah, a head coach that has to watch every part of the field. He can't do that. Like he can't do that. And then like after that, it flipped the switch on the team. They played shitty. But you saw the same thing last year. You saw after that Chiefs game when he ran into the tunnel, he's like, "Oh, Chiefs fans, whatever he said." It turned the team off. We went 1-6 to end out the year. You come in this year, and all he does is talk, and he acts like he's like I don't know who is this guy? Who is he? He hasn't won anything. All of his game management, he has no brain cells when he does it. He reacts off of reactions, like he reacts to stuff. He doesn't think things through. He just reacts, and that's a problem with Nick Sirianni. Then after the game, after you lose like that, which I was told that this team isn't like that anymore. This is a new team. You come in last night, and then you lose, and then your head coach doesn't speak to the team. What kind of a principle are we setting? What kind of an example is Nick Sirianni setting? First of all, Nick Sirianni got the offense taken away from him. He has no control of the offense anymore, no control of the defense. He can't even sit in on the offensive meetings. And, so his main job as a head coach was, quote unquote, to be a motivator, to be a speaker, and he's not even doing that. I mean, what is he? What is he? Who is he? Why is he here? Why?
That might have been the most beautiful thing I've heard about this game. You asked the right question. Why?
Yeah.
Why didn't he run the ball? Why didn't he kick that field goal? Oh, both were terrible decisions. Why is this team giving me agita that it's going to be the same as last year, of how the last year ended? It's not even going to be the good part of last year. Here, like, not every game needs to be close. There should be teams you kick their ass. This was one of those teams you kick their ass. And instead, you're giving me highlights of last year. The Giants game that we won on Christmas Day last year. We should have kicked their ass with a third-string quarterback. Tommy Cutlets.
Kick their ass, Dutch.
And I forget who they put in next. He looked awful, and it was a close game.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm watching Jonathan Gannon. And I know that this has nothing to really do with it. But Jonathan Gannon was basically fired. He was fired from this team because Nick Sirianni didn't like him. And he lost the Super Bowl, whatever. It is what it is. Shit happens. He gets sent to Arizona, and he was a loser in a lot of people's eyes. Arizona was going to be in the tank for years with Gannon. This guy's coaching. He just beat. I don't even know who he just beat, but he just beat a team. He blew them out. He smoked them. Then he almost beat the Bills. I'd rather have him right now than Sirianni's clueless. He's clueless. I mean,
actually, a perfect bridge into our next topic, which is, I mean, when is enough for you, Ryan?
The tempers are
when
flaring.
When are you done with this guy? Like, have you been done with him? Do you give him till the end of the season? You fire him mid-season? When is enough?
I said when we signed him, or I guess we can say we signed him. So we signed him, whatever, and he won us that first game against Atlanta in 2021. And I said, this is a new era of Eagles football. I said it took an Italian to do it. That's what I said. It took an Italian to do it.
Hey, mama.
So and then we went to the Super Bowl next year, and I was like, new era of Eagles football. And after that, I mean, it's like going to the Super Bowl, like mess with the dude's head. Now he thinks that he's 15 and he's just talking shit to a bunch of people. Like when you're dealing with grown men on the field, it's not like he's a high school coach. He's dealing with grown men on the field, and that's the way he acts. He's screaming at referees. He's screaming at everybody. But instead of screaming at the guys that deserve it, the offensive line, for the amount of and eligible men downfield, they deserved it. Cam Jurgens had about 3 of them. He deserved to get yelled at Monday night. So Nick Sirianni acts like a tough guy on the field in the front of the cameras. He pinpoints the cameras. When he gets on the field, he's looking at the cameras. That's what he does. He doesn't do anything else. He looks for the cameras and then goes to the camera and starts shaking his head at the camera. That's what he does. That's all he does. And then he yells at people that don't need to be yelled at. Like this team does not respect him anymore. I'm over Nick Sirianni. He's incompetent. He's a moron. And I don't even I said this, and I'm not afraid to say it. And it's a hot take. He could be just as bad, if not worse, than Chip Kelly. They're the same level. They're literally the same level of incompetence. Like they're both lost in the head. They're lost, dude. I don't know what. There's a problem. There's a serious disconnect, and I don't know how Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman look at this guy and say, he's here. He's our guy. He's not.
Ash?
How do you follow that up?
Amir, you got
You
anything
don't,
to say?
because
I
he's
got
100%
some
right.
things to say.
Ryan,
I want to
you're
give everybody
100%
else
right.
a chance, and then I'm going to
Wait.
follow that up. That was great, Ryan, by the way. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm with you, bro. Great
that
job.
was great.
You of it took an Italian to right the ship. That's a fellow Paisani. It's a fellow 100% Italian. And let me just tell
Red,
you,
motherfucker.
I thought he was the answer. He was the way. He was the truth. But maybe this is why America is yet to elect an Italian president, because after 3 years, we want to throw him out, right?
Here's my thing, and I said this in college. Go
I
ahead,
agree.
Tom. Sorry.
His temper, he needs to focus. Stop being emotional. He needs to understand this is a business. You need to understand to think logically. There's a lot of smart Italian mathematicians over the years that have solved many of the world's greatest mysteries by using math and thinking through a logical process. We have Michelangelo to thank for a lot of things. We have Da Vinci to thank for a lot of things. And we have a lot of great Italians. Sirianni isn't one of them.
And the problem is,
He's
Tom,
the court gesture.
Italians, in my opinion, now this is coming from fucking Dutch, Holland,
That's the spinning circle of death that's on Dutchy's screen. That is what goes through.
What spinning circle of death are you referring to? Sorry.
Goes through Sirianni's head in the 2-minute warning. Since the beginning of 2023, I saw this stat today from Jeff Seversky on NBC 10.
What are you still talking about? I'm
there.
still confused
There,
about the
the
fucking
Phillies
spinning
have the
thing you were talking
most
about.
blown leads within the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter since the beginning of 2023.
Okay, back to the spinning thing too.
No, what spinning thing?
What spinning thing? I missed that. That one.
I don't see Dalt's face. Do you guys see Dalt's face?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there. He's there.
All right, guys. Tom is broadcasting
I don't know
live
why.
from Nick
It's just
Sirianni's
Dalt's
basement
screen
with
for me.
Wi-Fi right now. But no, Tom, you're right. I agree with you. That
Everyone
I never
else
knew that
I can see
stat about.
perfectly. I don't know.
Well, no, you're tapped in. Your audio is perfect too. But that's an interesting take about the Italians with the presidency thing. I never knew that. So you taught me something new today. But the thing that I was going to say is Italians get too emotional. That's my opinion. I live with an Italian right now. I lived with Italians in college. My family wasn't Italian before that. Italians get too passionate, and it's not all bad. But I think that some Italians are good at being passionate, and some Italians do a really bad job masking it and explode like Nick Sirianni. Luckily, I've been good to live with the good Italians. I've never lived with the crazy Italians. But if I lived with Nick Sirianni and he was fucking doing that shit, you would shut off at a second. And that's why if you guys look closely in that graphic right there, you'll see who's fucking lingering, who's hanging out right there at the bottom, who's ready to take his job. Billy B. I think Bill Belichick could be honestly a good candidate for the Eagles, a proven record. And the Eagles, let's be clear about this. This is not a fucking one Super Bowl team. They're trying to solve the puzzle of how to win this year and then how to win the next year and the next year and the next year. This isn't going to be a fucking QB factory. This is going to be a Super Bowl factory. That's Howie Roseman's main goal every year. So Nick Sirianni, I hope, understands that he is replaceable. His job isn't safe.
So,
nobody's job is safe on the
missing-
Philadelphia Eagles. Even Jalen Hurts.
Is he talking? Am I missing something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're cutting out, I think. Is he cutting out for you guys too?
No, but there he goes.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
he's not cutting out for
Fair
me.
enough.
He's just out of sync, I was going to say.
I think we've
Ash.
exhausted. Our blood pressure has gone up through the roof. We'll all have to go talk to our cardiologist after our tempers have flared. Let's move it on to the Saints preview while
Yes,
we try to get Dutch.
I'm
out of
here. I
sync.
think it's your
You're out of
connection.
sync.
No, it's you, doll.
Oh,
Because
really?
I'm hearing Tommy just fine. He's
All right,
not
I'll
on
be
the line
back.
for me. Okay. Okay, y'all. On that note, let me find the. Let's get into the Saints preview.
Thank
Who
you,
wants to
our
take that one
chaos
first?
coordinator.
Who wants to take that one first?
Amir, let's kick it off
Okay.
with you.
Perfect.
All right, hold on. You put it on Tommy's face.
I did that. I just heard, let's kick it off to you. So I took a 1 in 5 shot.
Yeah, there you go.
New Orleans taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. What do I have to say about this? Am I excited? Only because it's Eagles football. And it's football in general. Do I think the Eagles are going to play their best football? Probably not. Most likely not. But do I think they have a chance? Yes, I do. I certainly think they have a chance. Because look, the one thing that I am really nervous about is them stopping the run. Because you cannot tell me that CJGJ had better run stoppage than practically everybody else on the defense. He had that one game-saving play, quote-unquote game-saving play, where he stopped Bijan, I'm pretty sure, at the line of scrimmage, if y'all remember what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can't tell me he's the one getting that and Bryce Huff isn't, or somebody else isn't. That's one thing that I'm a little bit nervous about, but I think it's going to be a solid game. And look, maybe the Eagles, they learned through this game against the Falcons, and they will come out with the win and leave New Orleans with, I don't know, what is in New Orleans? Like Popeyes? Yeah.
Oh, shit. Ryan, how are you feeling about the whole thing?
Well, this defense, Kamara is going to have 4 touchdowns. I mean, he's going to have a field day with this defense, and it's a serious problem. It really is. So when I look at the Saints team, the Saints defense is playing really, really well, and their offense is playing really, really well. So right now, I don't see anybody on our defense that is able to stop them. When our best player is a guy that's pushing 40 named Brandon Graham, that's a problem. Jordan Davis came into the year 25 pounds overweight. He's a bust. Jalen Carter, I mean, Nick Sirianni wants to be a tough guy and bench our best defensive lineman because he showed up late to a team party. Wasn't a team meeting, wasn't a team anything serious. It was a team party, and he got benched for that. Real smart, Nick, right? So I mean, really, I think you really have to look at getting Devin White to play. Devin White has to play. Nakobe Dean had one good game. He sucked yesterday or Monday night. Bryce Huff, who is a guy that I was brought here to stop the run, he has done literally nothing. Literally nothing. So, like when I look at this defense, They're going to, if Kirk Cousins could have a field day and Bijan could have a field day, Kamara's going to have a field day. And they're going to light us up. And the offensive side, that Saints defense is good. And Jalen Hurts, his first read isn't open. He's he's escaping the pocket and throwing the ball away. And Kellen Moore, his offensive game plan is clueless. I mean, I just don't know. I'm not feeling good about it. We could go into the bye week 1-3. Oh yeah, 1-3. We could go into the bye week 2-2. I mean, we can go into the bye week for what 3-1. But I mean, I think you're going to lose this week. You're going to lose this week. You're going to be out coached. You're going to be out hustled. They're going to out physically match these guys. That is little. We're going up against tough guys, and our guys are not tough.
I couldn't agree with him more. I couldn't agree with you more, Rye. If this defense plays anyway like they did against the Packers, against the Falcons, it's going to be a high-scoring game in the wrong way. It's going to be like a 35-plus point game for the Saints offense.
A can of whoop ass, as we said in Delco.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Yes.
And it's like, well, what is Vic Fangio doing? Like, and I say that in a quiet manner because, like, I like Vic, I do. But what is his function? Like he's supposed to be an old school guy, he knows how to be a defensive coordinator. And I saw a bunch of plays Monday night where we were only rushing 3. We usually rush 4 or 5. We're rushing 3. So I there's no blitz. There's no urgency to get to the quarterback. There's no like.
Oh,
His Wi-Fi just cut out.
Oh no.
Anyway, go ahead, Tom. What were you saying before that? Oh, he's back now.
We're only sending 3. Kirk Cousins was a statue in that pocket on Monday. Derek Carr's not just going to be a statue. Derek Carr's going to be able to evade the blitz. And if we can't adjust for Kirk the statue Cousins, who diced us up, like I got to give props where props are due. He diced us up. We're not going to be able to stop Derek Carr. Derek Carr has fresh weapons in New Orleans, guys who are scary like Alvin Kamara, and he put up 35 against the Cowboys, and it looked like they kind of stopped trying in the second half. Easily probably could have put up in the 40s. I wouldn't be surprised if they stop at 35 for us because it's 35 by halftime. I don't think. And if Jalen hasn't played a full game yet, too, in either of the 2 games. He gave away the first half to the Packers, and he gave away the first quarter to the Falcons. If we're just being honest, I think Jalen overall had a bad game against the Falcons. That one turnover was just a desperation heave at the end. So I don't really blame him for that interception. He played a much cleaner game against the Falcons, but he also played more cautiously. It wasn't until he finally used his legs that he finally did something. I don't see how this team keeps up with the Saints. If they win, it's because it's a absolute shootout and Jalen decided to play a full game. But my money's on they lose because Jalen hasn't played a full game. He hasn't played a full game if we go back to last year, and really since he played Buffalo. He put in his heart and all against Buffalo at home in those Kelly Greens and has looked like dog shit since then. He's what, 2-7 since that Buffalo game, something like that. And
just getting by, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm tired of Jalen just getting by. I hear your point on that. And I thought this week, with the way I was happy with this, I will give credit where credit's due because I don't want to harp too much on last week. Now that we're into the preview, but I was happy to see Jalen Hurts ran the ball with his legs more. Like I heard a stat from 97.5 The Fanatic that when Jalen Hurts runs the ball 10 plus times, the Eagles are something like 14-0 or something ridiculous. So when Jalen Hurts does what he needs to, it's good. I just feel like Jalen Hurts is stuck in this motion of, cool, here's the first read, it's not there. All right, let me take off. And it's not the maturity of, Let me see if my second read's there. My third read's there. Well, I'm running. Okay. Now I got to take off. It can't just be, boom, let's go. Because number one, that's not sustainable. But number two, I mean, you're missing things. It's going to be easier for offenses to predict you. Like Terrell Pryor didn't work out for a reason. So just keep that in mind. It's got to be secretive.
It's true. I said it about Jalen Hurts. He just if his first read isn't open, he is out of that pocket, and ultimately 98.7% of the time, he's throwing the ball away. And it's a problem with Jalen Hurts. It's something that we've seen out of Jalen Hurts a lot. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again with Jalen Hurts. I'm at the point now where I'm kind of just like I'm lost with Jalen Hurts. I really am. I thought after the training camp he had, and listening to ESP saying, "Oh, he's doing this, he's doing that." I'm done. I'm done. You can't come into this year after the collapse last year and play that way. You can't do it. I'm done with Jalen Hurts too. I'm not done, but I'm pushing it. I'm pushing it.
Said like a true Philly fan, Ryan. Said like a true Philly fan. I love it, bro. Like, when do you say, though, and this is a question to open floor, we can kick it to you first. Like, what week are you guys done with Jalen Hurts? Like, if this shit keeps up, when are you done? I'd say I give him until week 6. And when the season shot is about week 6, I'd say, is when it's over. Maybe you have a couple, like, you got the win in Green Bay. That was a win. You have a couple games here and there. I don't want to lose to New Orleans. Let me see who's after that. I think you got the Browns after that, right?
No, you have Tampa Bay after that.
That might be a fucking loss, unfortunately. Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield are looking great. Their defense is playing good. Then you have the bye, yeah. So this could get ugly fast. Like Ryan said, I think he said it well too. Like, it could be 3-1, it could be 1-3, it could be so many different scenarios that it's like they need to just take it game by game. But we did hear from somebody actually before the show, and I don't know how much I believe of this, that Nick Sirianni was lectured in Jeffrey Lurie's office for all this stuff, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I will say this. I hope something was said that he didn't say anything to the team. Like, you gotta say something to the 53 guys that just went out there to you. You're the head coach of the team. Otherwise, like everybody else is saying, what the fuck are you doing here? What are you doing here? Like, why do we have you? Your job maybe is not to call the plays, but you should speak to the team and overall see the whole operation. And I just feel like the whole team, especially offensively, offensive coordinator, like what I call the holy trinity of offense, your head coach, QB, and offensive coordinator, they're not working in unison. They don't seem on the same page. The first game was shaky. We won. We got the fucking, first, high from it or whatever you'll call it, the buzz. And then it came down the second game once we had realism and realized, wow, okay, this was a close game, but it shouldn't have been a close game. And we lost because of some failed execution, but ultimately it shouldn't have been that close of a game before. Like Ryan said, should have taken the field goal. There were a lot of things that the Eagles could have done better, and they should really look in the mirror and blame that on themselves, because Falcons are a decent team, but they are not on the same caliber as the Eagles. Not even close.
Yeah. I just don't know where I'm at. And to go back to your point where with Jalen Hurts, this season could be over like that. I mean, like a light switch. And we're at the point now where week 2 and week 3 could make or break our season, just because of how incompetent our coach is, how mediocre to below average our quarterback is. Just all these factors, that's not something you see right away. Usually teams start to crumble as the year goes on. This team is crumbling right away, and you could be looking at a legitimate season-ending season soon. And you know what? I mean, I'm at the Jalen Hurts. If we're, I don't know. I don't know. I give him like in between week 6, week 10. If we're losing a lot of games, but we're still close to make a playoff push, he's benched. You have to make a statement. You have to make a statement. And, but the rest of this season comes down to Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, and everybody's going to say, oh, well, Jalen Hurts can run. I don't care how much he runs. I don't care how far he runs. I want to see leadership. I want to see passing. And when things don't go Jalen Hurts' way, you can see it in his face. I know he doesn't show a lot of emotion, but you could very easily see it on his face. You saw it last year with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts on the sideline. They got into it. There is a serious disconnect somewhere. I don't know if it's Jalen. I don't think Jalen trusts the leadership in Philly, and it's bothering him. And the rest of the team sees it. Like, the team feeds off of your guys. They fed off of Jason Kelce for years, and he's gone. So now Jalen Hurts is the big dog there. And he's not doing what he has to do. That's a problem. He could seriously be a problem. We know Sirianni's a problem. Jalen Hurts could seriously be a problem.
I know what you're saying, though. I like it, and I'll leave it at this. I remember the face that he made to Cam Jurgens after that first fumble, and it's like sometimes you got to just be aware of body language, like I said earlier in the show, and everybody's has a different speed at it, you know what I mean? Everybody's still learning, but try to be aware of your body language, especially when you're a quarterback and you have all those eyes on you. Like, you really got to be hyper aware of it almost. And like, when you make that face to your teammate, he's never going to forget that. You know what I mean? And it's tough. It's very tough because it's hard when you believe in somebody like Jalen Hurts believed in Cam Jurgens, but it was a different kind of belief in Jason Kelce. It was almost like, okay, Jason Kelce is going to, like, guide me this way. I think he almost feels like he's having to do other people's jobs, which he needs to just focus on himself. I think this game was decent. There were things that we can take away from it that are okay, but overall, I mean, he's got to go back to the drawing board and fix it. And like I said earlier, too, that holy trinity really has got to go back to the drawing board of the offensive coordinator, head coach, and quarterback relationship, and really kind of figure out what they want their communication, relationship, play calling, audibles, all that fun stuff to be, because it looks like a clusterfuck this week to me. And like PJ Dolan said, shout out to him in our Instagram comments, that amount of points shouldn't beat the Birds at home. Like 22 points, that offense should be putting up more. I have a standard for this team. I don't know about you guys, and I'll leave it at this, and we can wrap up after that. But it should be 35 points a game minimum with this offense. They did it throughout the playoffs when they went to the Super Bowl. There's no reason why they shouldn't have put up at least one touchdown a quarter and then maybe find another one throughout all four. That's my take.
I agree with you. 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is a standard to playing in Philadelphia. A standard. There's a standard to coaching in Philadelphia. There's a standard of way of taking press conferences in Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts, when he gets to the press conference table, we're going to keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is that you can't pass. You are not a quarterback. So I want to see points, and the fans in the stadium make a tremendous difference. But when we don't see anything on the field that's worth cheering for, like we can't. Like what would we be cheering for? You know what I mean? Like there's just like they don't understand it. They just think that we could carry them through. Like we can't carry you. You have to you feed into us just like we feed into you. There's a standard of scoring and playing here. And half of the guys on this team, the coaching staff, are not living up to what we have here. That's what makes us great. As a country, as a city, as a fan base, we have standards, we have rules. You just can't break it. And these guys are trying to make something else. You can't do it.
I love it. Well said. Well, hey, thank you for joining us, Ryan. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, Amir. We appreciate you. You guys know, all you guys already follow Ballpark Tommy on Instagram, and if you don't, give him a follow. or Santa Claus won't give you any presents this year. But please make sure to give my guy Ryan a follow on TikTok and Instagram if you guys don't already.
And YouTube. YouTube. I got my podcast post games on there.
Subscribe on YouTube. So if anybody's on YouTube, go over and subscribe to him. That would mean a lot. Broad Street Sports on there. You can find him on there. And make sure you guys give Amir a follow on TikTok as well. Yeah. What's your TikTok handle again? Your personal?
Amir H Sports, or my personal. I don't really post Philly sports, but I post like funny sometimes videos on it. I really love Chicken House. Yeah, I did a pretty bad food review during the Eagles game. Do not buy those Oreo Cokes or whatever they are.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate all you guys for joining. Please make sure to give these guys a follow for their hard work, and hope everybody has a good night. As always, God bless. Go Birds. We'll see you guys on the other side.
What we got? 302BIRDS, Gino Stinks. Go Birds.
Oh my gosh, Chad.
Your favorite Chicagoan. Go Phils.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.